Can seed oils be similar culprit as sugar or even bigger culprits when it comes to insulin resistance and weight gain?
There's not a metacoronary experiment that says, here's the evidence with a direct link to obesity and metabolic syndrome. But similarly to what we were talking about with mechanisms, there is a human study that shows that eating a fairly large dose of omega-6 fats from seed oils increases the hunger hormone ghrelin. So it's possible that people eating large amounts of seed oils in processed foods and other sources are getting hungry, or so they're overeating. There is some evidence to link the intake of omega-6 fats with changes in endocannabinoid signaling. Now, when I say that, what I'm talking about is our body has natural receptors and signaling molecules that work similarly to cannabis, and a lot of people probably know that one effect of consuming or ingesting or smoking cannabis is the munchies. Similar type of thinking here, except it's taking place internally because of eating large amounts of omega-6 fats. So that also points to a potential link between obesity, appetite regulation, and seed oil intake. One area that's a bit more speculative is that there are many animals that go into hibernation. There are different signals that cause mammals to go into hibernation. One of them is the temperature, there's the length of days and the light cycle, but another one is the locally available foods that they can eat. When I think of mammals going into hibernation, I think of squirrels storing nuts in the fall, making a burrow that has a bunch of acorns in it. Now, when we think about nuts and seeds and we think about hibernation, in nature, there's a seasonal effect to which foods are available. And in some mammals, the omega-6 fats actually trigger a metabolic state called torpor. Torpor is increased appetite, reduced energy expenditure and movement, and getting ready to essentially get fat and sleep through the winter. So humans do share some of these metabolic pathways and genes with mammals that hibernate. Humans, of course, do not technically hibernate, but the shared kind of genetic heritage there may point to a torpor-like state that could be induced in people from eating a large amount of omega-6 fats. Now, you had mentioned sugar and ultra-processed foods. A lot of people have probably seen graphs that show prevalence of obesity and prevalence of seed oil and omega-6 intake, and it looks like they map pretty well onto each other. That's not proof by itself. It suggests a trend. People can potentially argue against that and say, well, it's partly how we measure obesity. It's a generational effect.